Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I've told you before, my ministry, I think of it like a fine recipe for a fine entree. And sometimes I sense that my ministry needs a little of this and a little of that spice, this and this. Today, I need paprika. So Paul Paprika Poppe, please come forward. And supply what my recipe lacks.
Okay. I'm going to move this a little this way. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today is a very good day. My name is Paul Poppe, and I was a gym salesman for 2 months. So it was a summer job. The manager at my gym in LA Fitness in Tampa, Florida, a suave man named Jamal, needed an extra guy on the floor, and just like that, I got the job. I was surprised, but excited, because I was in college, and money is, of course, good to have. And I was trained in the art of rhetoric, persuasion, and influence. I worked hard. In fact, I was so proficient that, I don't know if you know this about me, but when I finished my job at gym sales, I went on to become a high school teacher, and I did nothing in the field of sales. Now, you might say that the opportunity was wasted, but I would disagree, because here I am today, ready to pitch something to you all, and be warned, I will use all of my LA Fitness training to bolster my already persuasive speech. So get ready. Now, before I do this though, do me a favor. I'm a teacher, so this works very well for me. Please raise your hand if you have a godparent, either here or reposed. Raise your hand now. Exactly as I thought. Now, some of you are already onto my plan because you are smart individuals. Poppe, I hear you say, of course you have to have a godparent. You need a godparent in order to be baptized or chrismated into the Orthodox Church. Very perceptive of you. Yes, indeed, without a godparent to sponsor someone, that person cannot come into the church. Now, you see, my friends, we have a dilemma here. What if you're an adult already and you don't know anyone in the church? Most converts historically have come into the church because they know someone in the church. Usually it's a spouse who is already Orthodox, but it could be a friend or a relative. In those cases, that one point of contact reaches out to their friend group and finds someone willing to sponsor the person looking to convert. And thus, Eleni's Presbyterian husband, Kyle, is chrismated into the Orthodox Church. Done and easy. But what happens if you don't know anyone in the community? What happens if you discovered Orthodoxy online? What happens if you saw that Holy Trinity was just the nearest church in your area and decided to try it out one day? Furthermore, what happens if you fall in love with Orthodoxy and wish to convert? Ask any of the catechumens sitting around you, because that is most of their experiences. You see, during COVID, many young people like myself became disillusioned with society and its constantly fluctuating values. They yearned to find an ancient tradition that mirrored the traditions and the beliefs of the apostles, and they found it in the Orthodox Church. And thus, many began to research Orthodoxy and come to churches in droves. I'm sure you've seen this. One statistic states that, and I'm going to quote, the change was from 700,000 American Orthodox Christians in 2020 to 6 million in 2024. Now, that number is probably not research-backed, so we should be a little bit skeptical and cautious, but the fact that it exists tells a very particular story. There are a lot of people flocking to Orthodoxy, and many of them are here in this church, and many of them don't know a single person in this church. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, if you don't know someone, you should get to know people in the community and ask them to sponsor you. Then you can be chrismated in the church. And true, that is one way. But consider that for a moment. That person would have to participate in community services, social events, and services, eventually taking up the courage to walk up to people they just met and ask them, excuse me, sir, would you please be my godfather? Yeah, it's a bit awkward. Besides, how does the potential convert even know if that person they're talking to even wants a godchild? That's where you come in. So I have created a Google form that matches potential godparents to potential godchildren. It is a brief form that asks about the person's contact information, interests, what they're looking for in a godchild or a godparent. You can actually find it right now in the digital bulletin, or I'll be in the social hall after church. You can ask me for the link. I'll be more than happy to provide it. It's through a tiny URL, so it's a very small link. And we are blessed to have had many of our catechumens fill out the survey. Unfortunately, not so many potential godparents have done the same. Without godparents, these individuals cannot enter the church. So what I'm asking you to do is just to consider filling out that form. You don't have to be a perfect Orthodox Christian to be a sponsor. In fact, if you have the humility to think that you're not good for it, it probably means that you are. Your role is to guide, to pray, to help your godchild as they grow in their relationship to Christ. And guess what? Through that process, you will do the same. I want to take a second because I don't know if she's watching, but I want to talk about my Nuna for a second. My Nuna has known me ever since I was born. She was 12 years old. As a 12-year-old, she did not read St. Athanasius' book on the Incarnation, or know about the essence, energies, distinctions, or rave about St. John Chrysostom in his homilies. What she didn't do was practice saying my baptismal name over and over and over again, because my baptismal name is Polychronis Abstratios. So she practiced it over and over and over again until she got it right. She attended my needs when I was sick. She prayed for me and probably still does. Over the years, I ended up reading more Orthodox books than her. I attended more services. I took on more volunteer opportunities. But she never let me forget that she was there for me in every scenario, every situation, every day. I confided in her, sought her counsel, and vented when times got tough. And through it all, she remained steadfast in her commitment to me and to my growth. I'm convinced that at its heart, being a good godparent is about a relationship in which you're just there for your godchild, where you sacrifice some of your own will for theirs. It's not a one-day thing. If it were, this would be a much easier sell. But it's better than that. It's a bond that brings both of you closer to Christ through love. These catechumens are willing to put themselves on the line and try to find someone who they can connect to, someone that will pray for them, someone that will listen to them and offer them a little advice. All I ask is that you consider being that person. Just fill out the form, be open, meet the catechumens, connect. With the help of God, maybe you can make a difference in somebody's life. But don't take it from me, though. Let's ask an expert who has sponsored over 70 different godchildren. And by the way, if you were not trained in the art of persuasiveness, that is the famous appeal to authority, by the way. That's LA Fitness training for you. This person knows a lot more than I do about the subject, and I would love to hear her thoughts. Please welcome Maria.
Well, good morning, and it's very, very hard to follow Paul's speech. I'm not that good in speech. You cannot hear me? Okay, now we can, okay. I will be giving you more practical how I started. I have 72 and it is growing. And if any one of you want a godmother, yes, I will be more of happy. I did ask my spiritual father when to stop, and he said, Maria, never stop. If they want yes, you always say yes. And that was the most important. I started when I was 18. My aunt and uncle adopted a little girl from orphanage, and I became godmother. A month later, my very good friend at the high school asked me to be godmother. I'm from Bulgaria. In that time was a communist country, and a lot of people believed but they were not baptized. But the main thing and the best what I had in my life was 10 years ago, I'm doing mission. I still am doing mission in Bulgaria in orphanage with disabled children. And the director and his wife asked me to be a godmother, again, because they were adult and never baptized. But he also asked me to be godmother for 57 disabled children. And that day was amazing. We start 9:30, we finish around 4. By the time we finished, the children which cannot speak, they were singing Kyrie song and the hymn of the baptismal. In Baptist, we are baptized with Christ. This was amazing. We did outside because we did not have so many wheelchairs, and also that little church in the village cannot hold so many of us. We did the boys in the right, the girls in the left, with the two baptismal font. And the most important was that the director, which the children adore, was first to be the Baptist, and they knew and repeat every single thing after him. How is it important to be a godmother and godfather? First, in Bulgaria, if you translate, in Bulgarian, godmother and godfather is krstnik and krstnica, which means it's Christ, it's a cross, that you give the cross. Yes, we do give the cross to our godchildren, but we give the God and our heart. And what is also important is to be, because 1 or 2 months later, the same director which I baptized, he was at the hospital because one of the child which was not baptized was in the deathbed. And he became, in emergency, baptized to this child. This is how important. If he was not baptized, he cannot baptize this girl which was dying for 2 hours later. This is how important it is to always remember that we give our part to somebody else also. I do have a lot of godchildren here in the United States. They are in 5 different states. I always contact and connect with them. Here I have quite few also, and I'm so happy because they're part of the big family. We are like, I'm their mother. And also, we go to church, different churches. We do also going to the monastery. They help me with gardenings. I cook for them because I love cooking. But, and we are one big family. But every time, especially in the Baptist, and I don't know if somebody of you never went to Orthodox baptism, please come, because the service is amazing. We start with the narthex over there, and we go west and literally spit and denounce the devil 3 times. And then you turn around and point to the east, and we accept Christ. It's so meaningful and so wonderful. Please, please become one, and you'll have a big family like me. Thank you so much.
So if you have any questions about the survey or anything else, I'll be in the social hall. Thank you.